They thought the city was safe. High stone walls, towering gates, and countless soldiers. The Crusaders believed iron and faith could hold the world at bay. They did not know that salvation might arrive from the sky. By dawn, the first shadows appeared above the walls, sleek, black, and unlike anything their minds had ever imagined. Whispers spread among the guards. Are these angels or demons? No one knew, and that was the advantage. The Apache helicopters hummed low, a mechanical growl cutting through morning prayers. From the gates, 1,000 eyes stared, unable to comprehend. Arrows and catapults could not reach them. The siege engines, the battering rams, the horde of knights, they were irrelevant. Inside the cockpit, the modern soldiers remained calm. Every sensor, every sight, every weapon perfectly tuned for war. The city below was a chessboard centuries old. The pieces were moving as history had dictated, but now the rules were changing. The first wave of Crusaders hit the walls. A hail of fire spiraled down. Explosions cracked the stones. Men fell screaming, the air thick with smoke and disbelief. One knight lifted his sword, thinking to strike this metal phantom, only to vanish in a burst of shock and flame. Chaos spread like wildfire. The defenders watched, wide-eyed, as centuries of siege tactics evaporated in seconds. Every arrow fired into the sky bounced harmlessly off the steel. Every charge was shredded by precision strikes. Medieval soldiers had never known fear like this. It was not the fear of death, it was the fear of the impossible. But this was more than destruction. It was strategy, calculation, and discipline. The helicopters hovered, strafed, and retreated in patterns the Crusaders could not understand. They were not invincible, they were unpredictable. Each maneuver seemed choreographed by some otherworldly intelligence. From the city walls, priests whispered frantic prayers. Merchants and civilians pressed together, watching as their city transformed from a target into a fortress. History itself began to fracture. The tales they had been told, the heroes they revered, the inevitability of conquest, all crumbled before rotor blades and guided missiles. Yet not all was calm inside the Apache. The soldiers felt tension too. Every second was measured, every decision carried weight. One wrong strike could hit the wrong tower, turn civilians into collateral, and transform salvation into massacre. Even in power, restraint was necessary. Even in supremacy, fear lingered. The Crusader commanders regrouped, trying to adjust. They adapted old tactics to an enemy they could not touch. Ravens circled the air, carrying witness to the unthinkable. They hurled fire and steel, yet every attack was met with precise counters. The horde became a storm of desperation. Then came the psychological wave. Rumors spread, invisible troops, fire from the sky, God's wrath incarnate. Men dropped swords mid-battle, others turned to flee, but the city gates remained alive, defended by technology beyond imagination. Faith began to twist into terror. Prophecies were rewritten on the fly. And still, the Apaches did not relent. Precision-guided strikes eliminated siege towers. Missiles shredded the first line of knights, then the second. Every engagement was short, decisive, and bewildering. The siege turned from a battle of attrition into a spectacle of impossibility. By nightfall, silence fell. The Crusaders retreated, broken and disoriented. The city had survived, not by numbers or fortifications, but by a force that history had never prepared for. Medieval men could not understand what had saved them. The walls had held, but it was the sky that won the day. Inside the city, the soldiers removed their helmets. Rotors slowed, engines quieted, but the weight of what had happened remained. They had not just defended Jerusalem, they had rewritten the rules of war. Ancient eyes had witnessed modern gods, and the world would never feel the same. Legends would form, myths would emerge, stories of fire-spitting birds from the heavens, tales of metal demons protecting the faithful. Children centuries later would speak of angels with guns and monsters with precision. And yet, beyond myth and legend, the lesson lingered. Power without restraint terrifies. Technology without understanding can redefine morality. Faith without knowledge is fragile against the impossible. The city slept under a sky now calm, but forever changed. History had paused, time had fractured, civilizations watched and whispered, and somewhere, in the echo of rotor blades, humanity glimpsed its own reflection. A future that could bend the past, a past that could never fully comprehend the future. The world had learned a truth that no historian could ignore. The impossible was not just real, it had arrived.